What is up, guys? Jake from OneHive here with the next CWL Invite League recap slash stock report slash power rankings, whatever you want to call it. Week 7 is in the books, and we are going to dive right into it. First war, Dark Looters versus Faked Wargasm. Dark Looters grabbing the easy win, 116-112 over Faked Wargasm. So obviously, Dark Looters looking super strong at their former glory. Even after the couple of losses, moving them to 5-2 on the season. You got to say, buy them up. I mean, they are the defending champions. They did go undefeated last season. Even with 2 losses, they have both been extremely close. And then they go up against a good clan like Fake Wargasm. I'm talking about a good clan. And put a performance on like this, making a statement for sure. Dark Looters, buy them up. Stock is on the move. Then Faked Wargasm also moving to 5-2 with this loss, and I'm going to leave them at a hold. I really am. I don't feel like it's something that they're just like, oh, what happened to Faked Wargasm? I mean, they went up against Dark Looters and they lost. A lot of clans do the exact same thing. So going to leave them at a hold. Don't want to really react to that loss just yet, but we'll see how they do next week. Next, Clantanamo Bay versus Suomi Kotkat, and Clantanamo Bay taking the 3-star loss, 108-111. So this clan, I don't know what to think about them. That's why I'm leaving them at a hold. They're moving to 4-3. I thought, okay, they had a little slip up. They're on their way back, and then they turn around and put up a weak performance like this against Kotkat. I don't know. I don't know how to react. I'm just going to say, just hold it right now. Let's see how they bounce back from this. Obviously not the performance that they would want, but, who knows? Sometimes that makes people that kicks them in the butt when they get ready to perform, coming into the end of the season. Sometimes they just sort of fade off. So we'll see how Clantanamo Bay reacts. Kotkat moving to 5-2, obviously a buy, no question about it. Good performance against Clantanamo Bay, and anybody with that record, I'm interested in buying up for sure at this point in the season. They're looking strong. Watch out for these guys. They could make some noise in the postseason as well. Power COC, we have got Power COC versus Cold September, 87-80. I'm not sure what was going on with this war, what the breakdown was. Obviously something strange, but Power COC getting the win and moving to 3-4 on the season. I'm going to leave them at a hold. They got the win, but honestly, it was over Cold September, and that just no shade or no disrespect to Cold September, but a win over Cold September doesn't mean much right now. Obviously, they have struggled all season, so I'm leaving Power COC at that hold rating. See how they react when they get an actual test next week. As far as Cold September goes, moving to 1-6 on the season. They had that one win over 2.0, but since then have not been able to find any just semblance of organization or victory or anything like that. So the struggles continue. Obviously a sell rating for Cold September. Moving on, Elite Gaming versus The Lost, and a tie win for The Lost, 112-112. That puts Elite Gaming at 3-4 on the season, and I hate to do it. I hate to do it because my boy Ash obviously involved with Elite Gaming, and it was not a bad performance, but I'm going to have to sell them off. I mean, they're just not able to string wins together. That's the problem. It's a win and then a loss or two, and a win and then a loss. It's not a clan that I want to hold on to coming into the end of the season. So I am going to sell them 3-4. Not a bad record, just not going to be able to hold on to the stock at this point. The loss, on the other hand, moving to 3-2. Now remember, they've got some makeup games to do still, and I think in the bye week they're going to get one done. I'm not sure exactly the schedule there, but I'm thinking they're a bye. They come in. They were behind on this one. They didn't start off well, but just sort of held on, and then got the win in a tie right at the end. So definitely a buy for the Lost Earth. They come into the season sort of partway through, and they went up against some super strong clans. And win or lose, they've always performed pretty well. So right now, I'm leaving them at a buy. PWC versus Mariana Trench. And Mariana, guys, there's so many ties this week. There's so many ties. Mariana Trench getting the win on a 115-115 tie. Now, holy cow, where did this come from? Neither of these clans really look like clans that would put up 115 stars, but they both do. PWC moving to 3-4 on that. So I'm going to say that sell PWC just because they got the loss there. I mean, the record's just not something you want to be buying. But on the other hand, Mariana Trench getting the win, but I'm going to leave them at a hold. I mean, who knows? They're at 2-5. I just can't buy a 2-5 clan right now at this point in the season. So 2-5 to me says at least just sit back and wait. Let's see if they can string a couple of wins together. Then I'll be interested. 6 Slitzes versus OneHive, and OneHive another tie here, getting the win, 112 to 112, which moves 6 Slitzes to 4-3 on the season. But I'm not going to sell them here. I'm going to leave them at a hold. They've had a good season. They're a super strong clan. It was a good showing from them against OneHive. Again, a tie. They basically had us. They had us at the end until Shublu had a dip fail, gave us the win. So I'm definitely leaving them in a hold. For OneHive, moving to 6-1, I mean, you got to leave it at a buy. There's not many clans that are 6-1 and better at this point in the league. OneHive's one of them. Call me biased, call me whatever you will, but I still think they're a buy ready. Moving on, Emphatic Elite versus Midwinters, and Midwinters getting the win, 109 for Emphatic Elite, 110 for Midwinters. So Emphatic Elite dropping to 3-4 on the season, and I don't think there's any way that you can say that this is not a big sell. I mean, they started the season 3-0. They've lost 4 matches in a row. They are on a skid that they just cannot find the brakes on. So hopefully they can get things together. On the other side, Midwinter's moving to 2-5. I think it's a buy. I think Midwinter's, yes, it's a terrible, and I've already said I wouldn't buy a clan that sort of has that rating, but I'm going to take it back here. I said last week, Midwinter's is sort of at the top of the, at that point, 1-4, or what should be 1-5 category of clans, and they prove it here. A nice win over Emphatic Elite clan. I feel like they're still at the top of that little bottom section of the map, and I think they're better than their record shows. So I'm going to buy Midwinters here. I think this could be the start of a streak of wins for them. We'll see how they do next week. Next, we've got Annihilate versus Kanchan. What is going on here? Annihilate getting the win, 112-111. I did not think this was really a war in question. Kansha obviously have been looking strong this season in a lot of their wars, but take the loss here. It moves Annihilate to 2-5. I'm going to leave them at a hold. Midwinters, I say a buy because they were sort of, in my mind, better than their record shows. I'm not so sure about that for Annihilate. I think that they're in the bottom part of the league, and I'm not ready to buy clans that are like that. But Kansha, moving to 3-4, I'm going to sell them. I mean, to get beat by Annihilate was 1-5 before this war. That's a bad loss for a clan that's sort of in the middle of the pack like Kansha. That's a pretty rough loss. So definitely a sell rating for them for me this week. Moving on, War Whales versus Killer Bunnies, and obviously War Whales getting the win, 116-112, moving them to 7-0 on the season. Could these guys really do it? Could they go undefeated? I know that I said no one would. I think Adam said there was many people that said, hey, no one's going undefeated this season, and we've still got 2 undefeated clans. We'll talk about that more later, though. But War Whales, definitely a buy rating. Obviously, they're at the top of the heap right now. So moving to Killer Bunnies, 3-4 on the season. I'm going to leave them at a hold. I mean, that's not a terrible performance for Killer Bunnies, sort of in the middle of the pack, and taking a loss to War Whales by 4 stars, but they scored 112. I mean, that's not bad. It's really not a bad score. So I'm going to leave them at a hold there. We'll see how they react to that beat next week. Moving on, North Remembers versus Spartan's Legacy. Spartan's Legacy getting the win, 113 over 107 for North Remembers. And guys, North Remembers going to 0-7. Not sure if they're going to be able to actually get a win this season. I am still proud of them for showing up every week and doing the best they can. But obviously it's still a sell. 0-7. I mean, they're solidly in last place in the league right now. So we're going to have to sell those guys off. And Spartan's Legacy moving to 4-3 with that win. But I'm not ready to buy them back yet. I don't know that the woes are over for Spartan's Legacy. Any other clan that they beat, I would say, okay, they're starting to get their stuff together. But it was North Remembers. I mean, what can you really say about, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. So I'm going to hold Spartan's Legacy. I hope they get their stuff together because, again, so much hype around them at the start of the season. We'll see if they can get back on track here in the last few weeks. Immoral Thieves versus the Bada Bing clan. And Immoral Thieves get the win, 113-107. Obviously, moving them to 6-1 on the season. That one little hiccup against Elite Gaming. Wow, it was crazy. But anyways, they're a buy. They're super strong. They're close to the top of this whole thing and could beat anybody on any given day. So until they cool off, they're going to be a buy for me, probably for the rest of the season. Bada Bing clan, on the other hand, 2-5 on the season. Got to sell them off. They're just not a clan that has been able to string any type of wins together. Just not something you want to hold on to. Buy Forever versus 2.0, and Buy Forever getting the win, 111 over 110 for 2.0. Close war, super close war. Buy Forever moves to 3 and 4 on the season, but I am not ready to pick them up just yet. 2.0 obviously struggling, so a win over them is not enough to really throw you into the buy category for me. Looking at 2.0, they're at 1 and 6 now, so really struggling this season, dropping them down, to the sell. I think actually remaining in the sell category for me. So don't be buying any 2.0 stock just yet till they can get things together. Next, the Swarm versus Dark Looter Z. And wow, this was an epic war. One that was 2 undefeated clans, but the Swarm getting the win, 111 over 109 for Dark Looter Z. The Swarm moves to 7-0, so the other undefeated clan in the league right now, Warwells and the Swarm, just cannot wait to see how this thing plays out. If either one of them could possibly, go the whole season, if not both of them, undefeated. Actually, I think I can't go both of them undefeated. But anyways, excuse me. They're a buy. How can you not buy a 7-0 clan? Simple. Not much to talk about. They're super strong right now. Dark Looter Z, I'm not going to sell them because they lost to the Swarm. 2 undefeated clans, someone had to lose. They didn't have a bad performance. I mean, it wasn't something that you say, oh, look, what's happened to Dark Looter Z? They just didn't win this one. Someone's got to lose them, and it happened to be them. So they're a hold for me right now. War and Glory versus Reddit Omega. Wow, crazy good war. Another tie. Guys, I think that's 4 ties across the league this week. Insane. Moving War and Glory to 4 and 3. I think they're a buy. I really do. I said it last week. This is a pivotal war for both of these clans. They really needed it to make a statement, say, hey, we can win these tough wars. We can win against good opponents. So I'm going to buy War and Glory. On the other hand, Reddit Omega take the loss, but I don't know. I'm not going to sell Reddit Omega. They're at 4 and 3. I think that's a tough loss for them. I mean, it was a close, hard-fought loss. I want to see how they react next week. That's going to be the story that's going to tell me everything I need to know. So we'll leave them at a hold for now. Couple more guys. North Watchers versus WHF, and WHF getting the win, 113 to 111. That puts North Watchers at 2 and 5 on the season, guys. You got to sell them. You got to sell them. Wars like that you got to win if you want to elevate yourself to above that middle of the pack, and they just have not been able to do it. So I'm ready to get rid of it. WHF, on the other hand, moving to 5 and 2 after a shaky start to this season. These guys have come on strong, and timing is everything. So a definite buy for me for WHF. They are trying to climb this ladder. And then at the end there, obviously, you've got Reddit Alchemy versus Tactical Inc., which did not happen. It's a forfeit. Tactical Inc. Moved to 2 and 5, but no way I'm going to recommend a buy on a forfeit win. So we'll just wait and see what they do. All right, guys, there is the breakdown. That's the recap of what happened in Week 7. Now, what does it all mean, Jake? Well, I'm about to tell you right now as we get to the rankings. So we're going to start off going 32 through 21, show you guys what's up. Shout out to my boy Scott for doing some nice looking background for me, so you guys don't have to watch just some jank, scrolling stuff on the screen. Obviously, bringing up the rear, who has dropped out of the league, is Reddit Alchemy, so nothing really to say there. And then 31, North remembers, no movement from last week, another loss, 0-7 on the season. Just not ready to move them up at all. Then you've got Cold September dropping down a spot to number 30 after they took another loss in Week 7, and 2.0 moving up 1 spot just because they had a little better performance against their opponent this week. So I think that they deserve that. But 29 still they're still way down in the bottom of this whole season. So we'll see if they can get together. 28, Bada Bing Clan dropping 5 spots after taking the loss this week. So, I mean, it just is what it is. When you drop down to 2 and 5, you're going to move and you're going to go backwards. That's just how it's going to have to happen. North Watchers, same thing, dropping 6 spots to number 27. Tactical Inc. not moving, still at number 26. And then right above them, Mariana Trench moving up 3 spots after getting a nice win this week. So we'll see how they react from there. They could continue to climb. At number 24, Annihilate, also moving up 6 spots with that win over Kancha. I mean, goodness, that's a big jump for them, but that's a big win for them. Kancha was well up in the middle of the pack, and then putting that win on definitely jumps them up in the rankings. At 23, we've got Midwinters moving up a couple spots. And then at 22, Emphatic Elite dropping way down after that loss to Midwinters. So I still have them ranked above Midwinters because, I mean, obviously they have a better record. But I think more times than not they would probably win that war. It just didn't happen, so they're dropping pretty substantially. And then finally at 21, Cancha dropping 6 spots after that loss to Annihilate. So that sort of rounds out the bottom of the pack and sort of where things stand, in my opinion. Moving into your top 20, we've got Power COC moving up a couple spots after the win over Cold September, but still hanging out, down there around 20. Killer Bunnies, back up, misspoke. Spartan's Legacy moving up a spot. They're at number 19 for me, okay? So Spartan's Legacy moved up a spot. They did win, but again, as I said earlier, they won over Northrend members. So I'm not even ready to move them much in the rankings. I mean, they still are really, really struggling. So for me, they get one little spot bumped up to spot number 19. At 18, we've got Killer Bunnies moving to 3 and 4 on the season and dropping down a couple spots there for them from last week. Buy Forever moving to 17, and they are up 5 spots after that nice win over 2.0. So 3 and 4, not a bad record. Maybe they can string some wins together. I've got them at 17. At 16, we've got Elite Gaming moving up about 3 spots again after taking the loss, but they lost to The Lost, and that's hard to sort of put your mind around, but they tied them. I mean, it was super, super close. Basically had that war and gave it up. So they still get a bump even with a loss. Sometimes that happens. And then finally, right above them, PWC. They're going to get moved up a couple spots because, again, they did, let's see, what are they? PWC, let me back up here. They lost, but same situation. They lost in a tie with 115 stars. So even though they took the loss, those few clans are going to get a little bump in the rankings because of a good performance. Then we go on to number 14, which is Guantanamo Bay. And wow, it's a pretty big hit for them. They dropped 6 spots this week. But here's my question. Here's why I've got them here. Look at the rankings, look at the clans, and tell me who could they beat that's in the 4 and 3 category. The only one that I would say is Spartan's Legacy. You're looking at the other clans above them, I wouldn't pick them. So that's why I've got them ranked here. I know Lady B's going to be mad at me, but they're still in the top 15, so that's good. At number 13, Reddit Omega, no movement. Again, they did lose, but it was to a tie. It was to a good clan of War and Glory. I just left them right where they're at. Right above them, War and Glory taking a nice big jump, 6 spots to that number 12 spot with 4 and 3 record on the season. Right above War and Glory, we got the Lost, moving up 1 spot. Again, getting a tough win, hanging on, finding a way to win. I think they deserve it, just missing the top 10. So here we go, guys. It is time for our top 10, and let's jump into it with number 10, 6 Schlitzes. They're going to drop 1 spot. Tough loss this week to OneHive, but it was a good performance. I still think they're one of the best clans at that 4 and 3 category. So that's where I've got them there in the top 10. Next, Suomi Kotkat, moving up a spot after a nice win there against Guantanamo Bay. They get to go up to number 9, and just above them, we've got WHF jumping 3 spots. They just missed the top 10 last week, in my opinion. They are solidly in it after getting to that 5 and 2 record. So they're a clan to pay attention to at this point in the season. Then at number 7, we've got Faked Wargasm. No movement for them. They got the loss, but it was to Dark Looters. I don't feel like they got beat by a team that should have beat them, and it wasn't just a beat down. It was a solid win for Dark Looters. But I'm going to see how Fake Wargasm responds next week. I still think that they're a strong clan. At number 6, dropping 1 spot might surprise some people, but that's where I got OneHive. Did get the win. It did move to 6 and 1, but it was a tie. It was a close win. It was a war that we should have lost. A dip fail to win is not one that we want to count on very often. So even though we do have the better record at 6 and 1 than some of the clans above us, at least one of the clans above us, I do have us dropping that 1 spot just out of the top 5, bringing it in at number 6. So there you go. Here we go, guys. Top 5. Coming in at number 5, we've got Dark Looters. They got the win. They're moving up 1 spot here. I know they're 5 and 2, but I still think you just look at their scores. You look at their 10v10 3 stars. They're still in the top 5. I don't care what you say. Look at the clans below them on the list. I think they're going to beat them more times than not, given the stats and all that's involved with it right now. So that's why I've got them in the top 5. Right above them, their sister clan, Dark Looters Z. They are dropping off a few spots. They did take the loss, but hey, it was to an undefeated clan. So how much, how much can it really cost them to take that loss there? I just dropped them down a few spots. They're in at number 4. Right above them, Immoral Thieves, moving up 1 spot, just above Dark Looters Z, 6-1. They're hot. All you can say is yes, they had a bad week. It was several weeks back. Right now, they're super hot. That's why I've got them at number 3. I mean, I'm not going to put them above an undefeated clan because that's not fair. I mean, the undefeated clans have not been beaten. They found a way to win every single week. But as far as clans with a loss, you got to say Immoral Thieves are right now on fire. So they're coming to number 3. And then obviously these two are ones people are going to want to know how you got them ranked and why. So here it is, number 2, the Swarm. Guys are moving up 1 spot. They're 7-0. Got the win this last week. But I just think if you look at the season as a whole, the margins of victories, the scores that have been put up, I don't think you can deny Warwell's that number 1 spot. So that's why I'm not changing it this week. They're still there hanging out at number 1. All right, guys, that is it. It's a wrap. Let me know in the comments what you think, where I screwed up, where I did it right. And obviously, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys did. Until next time, Jake from OneHive doing my best to help you guys suck less.